Hello, beautiful soul family. Rebecca here, your vibe mentor. Not too long ago, people who talked to themselves were considered crazy. And if you became a different person based on your environment or who you engaged with, it meant that you had split personality disorder. But the world is starting to realize we are all made up of different parts. And it isn't a flaw. And learning to work with your parts is critical to your success. It is critical to understand why you do what you do and how to direct your power and energy consciously. Most importantly, understanding and working with our parts is how we reprogram our subconscious and identify those sneaky blocks. It is the secret to healing trauma, overcoming self-sabotage, and becoming the most authentic and highest expression of who you are made to be. So let's dig into how we identify and work with our parts to unlock our potential and remove all of those pesky blocks. Have you ever wondered why you feel like a little kid every time you're around your parents? Or why you lash out when someone tells you what to do? Or why you sabotage your own success? Maybe you felt like a different version of yourself takes over when you are in stressful situations or you're triggered. Whether it's freezing up or when you need to speak in public or even avoiding opportunities because you're afraid of the rejection. These moments can happen because different parts of you are trying to protect you from pain and shame and fear and all sorts of things that it believes are a threat. And until we learn to listen and to work with these parts, they will continue to literally hijack your brain. The good news is that when we understand and integrate these parts, life becomes so much easier, more fulfilling, and you stop feeling hijacked by fear and anxiety and self-sabotage. You can finally regain control over your emotions and respond calmly in triggered situations, maybe even unlocking new levels of your identity and stepping into confidence to pursue your goals without anything holding you back. This is the path to becoming the limitless creator that you were made to be. Now, when I first started my business, I struggled so much with fear. I was afraid of being seen. I was terrified of rejection and criticism. And anytime I would try to record a video, I would shake. My voice would crackle and I would lose my words. Half the time I would end up deleting the content because it was never good enough. And no matter how hard I pushed myself, I couldn't break free from that invisible, sneaky block. It was very difficult to even put my finger on what exactly was the problem. And everything changed when I discovered somatic healing and trauma spotting. I learned that the sensations that I felt in my body, like the tightness in my chest or that lump in my throat or the shakiness in my nervous system, they were connected to parts of me holding on to past trauma and limiting beliefs. And by listening to these parts and understanding their fears and allowing them to release what they were holding back, I desensitized my triggers and unlocked the ability to show up authentically and unapologetically. Now I create videos with ease and flow all the time, as you can see. I'm no longer afraid of being seen or speaking my truth. And the transformation is possible for anyone. If I can do it, you can too. So, how do we actually work with our parts? Let's break it down. Psychology has explored the concept of inner parts for a long time, but it still wasn't mainstream information. Freud identified the id, the ego, and the superego. Carl Jung introduced the concept of shadow parts and those hidden aspects of ourselves that we repress because we see them as unacceptable. He also described the archetypes and their consistent patterns of behavior, like the hero or the caregiver or the rebel and the sage, which are all aspects of our personality. They are parts. More recently, Richard Schwartz developed internal family systems therapy, otherwise known as IFS, and he identified three main parts. You have the manager parts or the protector parts. They tend to try to control our behavior and our environment to keep us safe. They often show up as an inner critic or perfectionist or an overachiever. Then we have the firefighters. These are the parts that jump in when you feel overwhelmed. And they usually look pretty impulsive, like overeating or procrastinating or numbing out with social media. Their primary goal is to extinguish emotional pain. Then you have the exiles, and I like to think of them as inner child parts. These are the parts that hold your deepest wounds. They carry the emotions of shame and fear and grief from your past experiences. And at the center of it all is your core self. It is wise, compassionate, and the confident part of you that can lead your inner system and help repair it. In somatic work, I also see the organs and the different parts of our body showing up as different kinds of parts, all with different attitudes and perspectives and memories, experiences, preferences, and even beliefs. So imagine your inner world is kind of like a bus, and you're filled with all of these different parts. Your core self, your adult, current, conscious self, should be the one driving. But when you're triggered or overwhelmed, feeling unsafe, one of those other parts might dive forward and try to take that steering wheel from your true higher self or your core self. They jump into the driver's seat and take control, and who knows what's going to happen from there. This is when we act in ways that we regret later, like lashing out or freezing up, or even sabotaging our own success. Healing happens when the core self learns to listen to these parts with curiosity, compassion, and reassuring them that they no longer need to take over to keep you safe. When your parts feel heard, their extreme behaviors tend to soften naturally. There are profound benefits in integrating your parts so that you can feel like one whole conscious self. You stop feeling hijacked by fear and anxiety and shame. You gain control over your emotions and respond calmly with conscious intention, desensitizing your triggers and reprogramming your subconscious programs, eliminating those sneaky and pesky blocks. This is how we unlock the confidence to pursue your goals without being held back. Life begins to flow with more ease and joy because you're no longer fighting against yourself. And the best part is, your energy is no longer tied up in protecting these old parts and wounds. And then you get to channel that energy into creating the life and business you love, a life worth living. Everyone has inner parts. That is completely normal. But the more integrated and aligned your parts are, the more in control you feel in your life. And when you learn to lead your inner system from a place of love, compassion, understanding, that is when you start to unlock true freedom and the ability to live consciously and authentically, to pursue your passions without fear, and to receive the abundance that is your birthright. The universe is you inverse. What you believe and feel inside is what you create outside. And when your inner world is aligned, life becomes easy, beautiful, and full of possibility. This is the true mind, body, and soul alignment that allows you to be a powerful laser instead of a diffuse light bulb. Imagine what is possible when you can apply this in your life. If you'd like to learn more about healing your trauma or learning to work with your parts, check out the More Than Enough Mastermind link in the description below. If you're struggling with money blocks specifically, check out this most recent video I created for you. And if you found this helpful, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more content like this, and drop a comment. Share. Which part do you find comes forward most frequently? Are you able to get in touch with your body and feel the response of your physical parts? I'd love to hear any questions that you might have and how I can further support you in this. Until next time, remember, you are a limitless creator. It's time to step into your power and authority and know that I love you and I am here for you. Namaste.